Code monkey, get up, get coffee. Code monkey, go to job. Code monkey, have boring meeting with boring manager Rob. Rob say code monkey very diligent, but his output stink. His code not functional or elegant. What do code monkey think? Code monkey think maybe manager wanna write login page himself. Code monkey not say it out loud. Code monkey not crazy, just proud. Code monkey like Fritos. Code monkey like Tab and Mountain Dew. Code monkey very simple man. Big warm fuzzy secret heart. Code monkey like you. Code monkey like you.
What's new, Dino Dudes? It's me, the Media Raptor, and welcome back to another episode of the Media Raptor Reviews. This time it's an episode of Reaction and Review with the Media Raptor, or the Media Raptor's Reaction and Review, depending on what you want to call it. Or, as I'm going to call it, the 275th episode of the Media Raptor Reviews. That makes me really happy. You know, I know it's been like a month since I posted anything, aside from the review before this one, but I'm filming this one first because it's going to be longer and all that. Yeah, I'm sorry, it just had a lot of stuff going on and I lost motivation, and then with everything going on in the world right now, things were kind of crazy. So, to celebrate 275 episodes, I found a movie that's been heavily requested and I think could make for a good reaction. Thomas & Friends' Blue Mountain Mystery from 2012. It's another one of these direct-to-video Thomas & Friends films, but when I talk to the Tankies or Brokomotives, apparently they do call themselves Tankies, this is one they all really like. Like, this is one of the ones that is generally accepted by the fan base as definitely one of the better ones in all these kind of animated films. Now, my track record with these movies has not been that great, but Journey Beyond Sodor, while flawed, was certainly at least watchable and somewhat entertaining. I do remember thinking, oh, that wasn't that bad. So, let's see if Blue Mountain Mystery can do that as well. Also, I know absolutely nothing about this movie. Haven't watched a trailer, haven't watched any clips, haven't even read the back of the case. I'm not doing that because I'm watching it on YouTube. Like, I know nothing about this movie. So, grab a drink, in my case, some good old cider, and let's celebrate 275 episodes of this idiot sitting here and talking about movies nobody cares about as we dive into reaction and reviews. No, wait, screw that up. As we dive into Thomas & Friends' Blue Mountain Mystery. I don't know what the mystery is, but I'm just going to say it now. If it's like a murder mystery thing, that would be amazing. Okay, so I know I just made a joke about this being a murder mystery, and like a minute in, they nearly kill a character. If this actually is a murder mystery, that would have been an amazing way to start it. Also, there's a Swedish train now. Again, I don't know any of these characters, so I'm just going off what I know from the old shows and stuff. So, we have our first song of the movie. I don't know if there'll be more than the one, but at least it's the song that a lot of these direct-to-video Thomas films tend to have right at their beginning for some reason. It doesn't feel right. It's not the characters singing, it's just kind of almost hip-hop, funk kind of song. It's not horrible, it's not very memorable, but it feels like it should be one of the characters singing. Then again, it's not the worst. I'm not going to complain too much about it. Okay, I'm sorry to keep bringing this joke up, but they keep making it funnier. I said, you know, it could be a murder mystery or something. They're talking about the mystery right now, and they just said he did something bad long ago, and I'm just sitting here like, okay, who did he murder? Can I please find out? Like, I know that's not the case. It's going to be something super minor that's going to make like no real difference, and it'll be resolved within 10 seconds because movie for preschoolers. Like, you're not going to have deep character arcs and stuff like that. But they keep making it so easy for me to say, the body was hidden in the river. We must never tell anyone. Holy sh**. I was joking, and they actually did that. Okay, I'm being deadly serious. I did not know anything about this movie. This is actually amazing for how needlessly dark it is. And I kind of love it. But I knew nothing about this. I was just making jokes, and they literally did that. Wow, everything's turning orange. I have really bad lighting. All I can really say is the acting is driving me crazy. This is not good acting. Like, the pronunciation and the enunciation and the emphasis is horrible. The acting itself is actually pretty decent, and it's because it's the same kind of guys who've been doing this already. The Thomas cast from the past few movies. Excluding Johnny Mansoda, we'll talk about that later. But this is just super weird to me because a lot of their dialogue is they're trying to say something important, but they never put the emphasis on the right word. Okay, credit where it's due. I wasn't expecting that. Of course they had to do that. I'm sorry, this is just this. There's so many ways they could have done conflict, like a third act, like tension raiser, but they went with the laziest, cheapest, and most overplayed one there is. By making everyone a complete idiot. Like, all Thomas had to say was another 3 or 4 words, but, of course, no, third act breakup, everybody has to be an idiot and never think rationally or straight, and everyone has to say something in just a certain way that'll guarantee that nobody's able to understand what they're saying, leaving them questioning, why did any of this happen? How could you betray us, rather than, hey, look, here's the truth, here's what happened, it's okay. I think it just really got to me because the rest of the film has actually been, decent, that all of a sudden this is very sudden, very drastic, just kind of decline, like this random shift is just really getting to me, and I don't know why, because it's only 10 minutes at most of this movie left. Okay, so we've got to our recap song, so the movie's over. That was Thomas and Friends Blue Mountain Mystery, and that was actually pretty decent. I'm surprised. I guess that makes 2 Thomas films I've watched recently that were actually not total garbage. No, it's not perfect, but kids would love it, and the audience that it's meant for, I think it actually is a decent mystery, and I think there is actually a pretty decent message to it. It's got flaws, and I'll talk about them, because if I didn't, what are we doing here? But overall, that was actually a pretty decent film. In fact, I dare even say it was kind of good. Never gonna watch it again, but, for a one-time sit-through, yeah. So the whole mystery is kind of a false lead. There isn't a mystery of, with Legends of the Sodor Legends of the Lost Treasure or something, where it's there's an end goal, or there's a big treasure they're trying to find. There isn't even a mystery as to who this unseen engine is, because they kind of tell you within 5 minutes of him first showing up. And I do get, for an hour-long movie, you can't develop the Christie length mystery. You can't do murder on the Sodor Express within an hour. Although, again, I would pay to watch that, and again, this did get pretty close to that at some points. But, yeah, it's a pretty simple, pretty basic story. It's not really memorable. And my biggest fault with the whole movie, and this is just the entire movie, like, this is my biggest fault with all of it, is the dialogue. It's got the same issue Peppa Pig has when the narrator will say exactly what was just said or what you just saw. It won't let kids kind of take the time to think, reflect, or take in what's happening. They have to explain everything to you. They can't let like the characters' faces animation tell you how they're feeling. They have to say it out loud, and I get it. Again, preschool age, it's kind of what this is probably made for. But I feel like it would have been a lot better if they actually kind of left it up for kids to try and understand, for kids to interpret as their own, helping them discover and understand what people can feel just by reading a face. I don't know. Again, maybe I'm thinking way too hard for a kids movie. Like maybe kids can't do that. I don't know. I'm just talking. And there was a really good opportunity that I think got passed up on that I kind of wish they would have done is... So the whole thing towards the end is they can't talk about Luke, this little green dude, because of something that happened that I'm not going to spoil because it actually was a nice twist, actually. I wasn't 100% expecting it. Anyhow, so if like anyone finds out, he'll get sent away, blah, blah, blah. So of course somebody finds out, they tell Diesel, and then Diesel tries to get him sent away. What I think would have been really cool, and what I think would have made a really good message for kids, is Thomas overhears them saying, "Oh, we don't want an engine like that on our island. Like, I'm glad you told me about this." If they had cut that first part, if they had just said, "Okay, I'm glad you told me about this. I'll talk to Sir Tom Matt or something," let Thomas and the viewers think, "Oh, okay, he's like trying to get him sent away." Then have it turn out, no, he was talking to him so they could try and figure out what happened. Make it that, you know, he doesn't like it, but he's not completely heartless. Like, give him more of a character. Let him actually be a little bit compassionate. And I get that's totally out of character and that's way too much to ask of this franchise, but I think it would have been a nice little twist, you know? And I think it would have been nice for kids to understand that, hey, just because somebody is one way does not mean they're completely that way. And it also would have been a good message of, be careful what you hear, not everything is what you see. Again, you know, I might be asking a bit too much of this franchise or this movie. But yeah, and then towards the end, they really drop the ball. They get to this really nice, interesting twist on it. And again, I won't spoil it because I actually did kind of like it. But then, of course, they do the third act breakup when there's a miscommunication that nobody is able to understand. And look, as somebody who writes a lot, the old trope of everyone splitting up due to a miscommunication can work if the miscommunication is not 3 simple words. Or in this case, it would be something like 8 simple words. All they had to say was, blank is okay, he was the one you pushed off. Okay, maybe 10, I'm not good at counting, I don't know. But like 2 sentences and this whole conflict would have been completely avoided. This whole third act, everyone suddenly hates Thomas for all 5 seconds before they all become friends at the end, because of course they will. Could have been avoided. If you want to do that, you have to make it either that the characters are not in a place when they're willing to listen already, and whatever they're trying to say is just making them more angry, or the person who is trying to say something won't admit fully to what happened. Like, say, they won't admit they had a hand in whatever happened, or they don't want to admit that they made a mistake. So they try and word it that, no, it was this that happened, or I did this to help, rather than, listen, it's okay, it's not what you think, let me explain. Like, instead of that, it's just, hey, I'm gonna say this thing that, like, could easily be misinterpreted by anybody, and then everyone will get super upset over it, and then 5 minutes later it's A-okay. So, yeah, the writing was both good and bad. Not the worst I've seen out of these movies, but also not the best. It definitely had its problems. So, the other big issue was the acting. As I said in the reaction section, the acting is weird because there's a lot of the characters are pretty decently acted. You know, everyone that actually has roles and lines and all that kind of stuff, I did like them. One sec. Martin Sherman is the guy who's played Thomas in both the series for a while, as well as Heroes of the Rails, Misty Island Rescue, Day of the Diesels, Blue Mountain Mystery, King of the Railway, and Tales of the Brave, or Tale of the Brave. He does a pretty decent job as Thomas. I like his take on it. It's a little more high-pitched than I'm used to, but that's compared to the old show, so you know what? Times change. Actors change. It's just the way it is. Everyone else does a pretty decent job. I do find it strange that there are now Swedish trains, but again, I don't watch the show, so I don't know who these characters are, but they did a decent job explaining them, who they were. And something else, to this movie's credit, all the characters, up until the last 10 minutes, are actually really well written. They're kind, they can be snarky, they can be crude, like they can be detrimental to one another, but they're not malicious. Everything they do when it's like taking shots at each other, it's clear it's more out of a place of friendship than a sense of superiority or supremacy. All the characters are really well written, and I like the fact that all of them do admit to mistakes. All of them do contribute to the plot and to the resolution. I actually really like the way it all turned out. Thomas was not this perfect paragon who is completely fine no matter what he does. No, he makes mistakes. He owns up to it. It actually was a pretty nice message. It was nice to see compared to some of the other movies I've watched years ago when he was a condescending asshole and absolutely nothing came of it aside from him being completely correct because, you know, as I said back then, and that has not aged well, racism and Thomas. I really don't like those old reviews. But back to the acting. As I said, there's a whole lot of just weird pauses every now and then. And it's like they want to talk to kids. So they speak as slowly as possible. And it can completely just destroy the flow of the entire show. In fact, I used to talk like this a lot because I had a speech impediment. And if you look at some of my really old reviews, you'll see that I kind of have this habit of speaking in this really low tone, kind of quiet voice, because it was just how I talked. And even when the characters are being like more emotive or expressive, they speak like that, but they sound like they're saying something much more important, if that makes any sense. It just feels kind of weird, this disconnect between the decent acting and then the sudden drop in acting, if that makes any sense. Animation. It's fine. Like, there's really nothing too special about it. It's, again, direct-to-video Thomas CGI, and I'm not a fan of it, but I'm also less of a fan of that weird new show they're apparently making with, like, I think it's like a 2D animation of, like, Thomas babies or something. I don't know. I don't want to watch it, but I totally will for this channel because I'm that kind of person. I'm a sadist, I guess. But the animation, it's on par with all the other ones. There wasn't really any, like, really nice land shots and stuff like that, but it also wasn't cheap. It was nice to look at for what it was, and it worked for the movie. Also, there isn't the whole bouncing thing. I actually asked a couple tankies about this, and they said in Journey Beyond Sodor, when the trains are kind of like moving back and forth as they talk, as if that's their way of kind of like shrugging or expressing, instead of just doing it with their eyes, and occasionally a shake as they actually drive, they were actually kind of like moving completely. There's none of that, and I was thankful for that because it was very distracting in the Journey Beyond Sodor, and apparently most of the fan base hates it. Yeah, it's not here, and I was kind of thankful for that. Really, all that's left to talk about is the music, and there's nothing really to talk about. The opening theme is nice, but nothing too crazy, and the 3 songs, I think this one song is used twice, and then there's the end song, which is kind of like a whole recap thing that started back in Day of the Diesels, or at least that was the first one I saw, and yeah, they were not that great. They were kind of this weird hip-hop, jazz, funk kind of mix-up. It almost sounded like it was going to turn it like into a reggae, like Max Romeo kind of song at one point. I don't know. I really feel like if they were going to do that, they should have just gone all the way. bongos. Most things can be improved with bongos. I actually have no idea why I even have these. I bought them on Amazon like a year ago, and I completely forgot I even bought them till they showed up. And I completely forgot why I bought them. But, bongos. So yeah, songs are okay, nothing too special. I think I'm always more critical of them considering how catchy some of the old songs were. And they weren't like, phenomenal, but they were dang catchy and they were certainly memorable. So, yeah. I can totally recommend this to people who like Thomas or have young kids. Blue Mountain Mystery is definitely one of the better ones I've seen. I'm gonna actually give it a solid 2.5 Raptor Claws out of 4. That might seem kind of low or harsh, but it's because it was just a nice movie. It didn't really make me feel anything. It didn't make me think all that much. It didn't really hold my attention 100% of the time. But it was certainly better than other ones I've seen, if that makes any sense. If you have young kids and you're just showing them a bunch of Thomas movies, I think they will definitely enjoy this one. If you're, a tanky or a procomotive or somebody who's just kind of for some reason feeling like they want to go on a nostalgia binge and see what Thomas has been up to in recent years, this one is totally serviceable. I can see why a lot of people really like this one. I can see why it was so heavily requested. And I'm sorry I didn't have more aside from just one joke 3 times in the reaction section, but there was nothing to complain about and nothing really to point out. But that's not a bad thing exactly, it's just its own unique kind of thing. Anyhow, with that being said, that's all the time I got for this review, so thank you for 275 episodes of the Media Raptor reviews mixed in with the Media Raptor's reaction review or whatever I'm calling this. And until next time, this has been the Media Raptor saying keep cool, and I will see all you dino dudes around. Later. I'm going to cut you like a fish and wear your remains like a trophy. I drank too much tonight.